What's up, guys? Today is another episode on the BRZ. So last time we ended up getting the CCWs fitted on the front of the BRZ with the angle kit. We have basically everything all sorted out. Off camera, since then I've done some more adjustments with it to try and get it to fit right and drive right. I took it for a drive a couple days ago, I think it was, and things were just, I don't know, it definitely needs an alignment, but it was all out, so it drove really weird. So I put it back up in the air and I figured that all out. So it should be basically ready for the alignment now. But, so today what we're going to be doing is I've got this Mishimoto catch can that we're going to throw on. If you watched one of the previous videos of the track day that Matt and I both did, I'll put the link to it right there. And if it was the second day, our second heat out, I was really beating the crap out of the BRZ, and I noticed some fluid spray on the windshield, I guess, and it was like on the last lap. It was on like the cool down lap that I finally noticed it. And when I pulled off into the pit area and I looked, and I noticed that my breather hose that just has like a filter on it was spraying oil basically out of the engine. And it was all over the engine, it was all over the hood, it's all over the windshield. And actually since then I've only cleaned the windshield. The hood is still all oily, and the engine is still pretty much oily. But, so basically that was just a breather right off the crankcase, and it just went right to a filter. So I never had a catch can on it, which I'll actually show you right now. That one right there, this is supposed to go right back to the intake, but my kit doesn't have any type of like a port to have this like attached to, so I just put this filter on it just to do that. And for 2 years I've never had a problem, but I think it was just after all the heat and all the pressure and all the abuse that I put my car through, it started spraying a little bit. So like you can see on the hood, it's still all oily. I did actually clean up some of the engine because it was all over the condenser, but it's not anymore. But so, and I've driven it since then, and I've put it into boost since then. I haven't had that problem again, so I think it was just with how hot everything was, and I was really pushing the car. So I have this Mishimoto catch can now. This is like their like small, this was the small version. I guess there was a longer one, which is, this is actually pretty big already. It's like, it's bigger than my phone. But so this, I tried to figure out where I'd want to put this. It's kind of like long. So one spot that I kind of thought of was just right here. Right in this spot. Kind of just somewhere over there. Obviously I have it down a little bit more because right now it'll hit the hood. But then this, I could rotate this hose to have it face that way. So it'll go right towards this. And I'll just take this breather hose and I'll just attach it right to that. So I might do it that way. If I can, I would like to mount it back here, just out of the way, like that kind of, just to tuck it up out of the way. But I don't know how ugly of a hose, like I don't want, like, I don't know, even though this is just basically my race car now, I don't want like just an ugly hose just like going all the way back there. So if I could stick it right here and just have like a 1 foot hose length, then I'll just do it that way. But basically I guess just the first thing I gotta do is figure out where I'm gonna put this thing. So Mishimoto actually has this bracket that comes with it. So I think if I attach it right over here, like basically right in this spot, what I'll probably do is bend that bracket. Instead of the 90 degree, I'll bend it flat, and then I'll just nut and bolt it right to this. Actually, you know what? I have some riv nuts left over, so I might actually be able to do a riv nut right here. That way it's like nice and OEM. Alright, so yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bend this thing straight, basically bend it flat so it's not 90 degree. I'm gonna mount it on this, and I'm gonna just test fit right in that spot over there, just to make sure that the bottom of this thing doesn't hit anything, because the only thing really down there is just the harness, so the harness could be tucked out of the way. So I'm just gonna go ahead, go over to Vice, bend this thing up, and then I'll get back to you guys. Alright, and just like that, now it's flat. So my only concern is that it kind of put a little bit of like a crease in it. It's actually not that bad. It's kind of like a thin type of like aluminum, so like if I went to go try and bend this thing again, it'd probably break. But it's not flimsy, so it should be alright. So now what I'm just going to do is I'm going to bolt it onto this, and then we're going to test fit it right over there. Alright, so now the bracket's bolted on. Let's just do a little test fit. And it's not really fitting 100%, so I might not be able to use this area. Oh, well, you know what? Maybe if I use that hood release cable spot? No, that doesn't really want to work either. Oh, unless if I stick it right there. That might actually work right in that spot. It actually just sits right down. Maybe out of the way. I could use one of these bolt spots and it won't really move. Let's see if the hood closes. This will be the real test. There we go. Hood closes. You can't really see it up in there, but the hood closes, so we should be good. So let's see, is it in the same spot? Yeah, in the same spot. Okay, yeah, that'll work right there then. Cool. Alright, so now I'm just going to mark that spot. I'm going to drill a hole, and then I'm going to get my riv nut tool, and we'll throw a riv nut in right there. Alright, so I drilled the hole with my step bit, and now I'm able to fit this riv nut in there. So now it fits right in nice and tight. I'm going to go get my riv nut tool, put that right in there, and now it'll just be a permanent, you know, I think it's a M8 by 1.25. And there we go, boom. And then whenever I need to remove it, I don't need to do like a nut and bolt. It's nice, easy, fast removal. All I gotta do is just undo that bolt, and then the catch can will come right out. Alright, and there we go. Now this thing is permanently in here. So now I just need to find a 12mm bolt, and we could just install it. Alright, so before I install it, Mishimoto has this nice little drain bolt at the bottom of it. So I've just got to make sure that thing's tight, because mine was loose, because they probably just you know, finger tighten it on. So just had to tighten that up. That's just a 14mm wrench, and now we'll be ready to go. So basically just gotta line up the hole. It's already like, it came with like M6 bolts like to put it in here, but these are like some pretty decently sized holes for an M6. Like it came with these for it. So I just have an M8 or a 12mm bolt that fits perfectly fine in there. So now I'll be able to just install it with just that. No more drilling. Basically just throw it right in place just like this. I twisted this bracket just a little bit because the what I'll call like the headlight brace or whatever you want to call it is actually angled up, so it was actually going to angle the catch can a little bit too much, like it was going to tilt it to one side. So I bent this, like I twisted it just a little bit, so now it sits flush. So now I'm just going to tighten this down, and we can start running some lines. Alright, so now I got this mounted up. It's nice and tight. I need to figure out the size for these hexes up here just to tighten these things down, and then I'll start taking the filter off of this and then connecting a hose over there. Alright, so I just removed the filter off of this, so I've got it just right here. I might just throw this out. I'm not sure if I'll be able to reuse it, and like this, that might be a little bit too high out of the hood, so I don't think I'm going to be reusing that. But this is the hose that comes with the Mishimoto kit. It's like this like kind of clear hose, like you can kind of see in it. like see through it. I know like the Cusco catch cans come with the same exact type of hose. I originally wasn't like a big fan of this, like being able to see, and like, you know, obviously once like, you know, it starts having blow by and stuff and the oil starts circulating through this and going into the catch can, eventually it's going to get kind of like discolored, kind of, it's going to look a little nasty. And for like a show car, I'm not that big of a fan of it, but since that this is like my track car now, being able to see if there's any blow by or anything like that with this hose, now I'm kind of like, you know, kind of coming to terms like, okay, like, you know, this is fine, because I'll be able to see if there's an actual problem, or if it's like dumping oil through, or if it's just, you know, just a little bit. So I'm gonna cut this to length, get a hose clamp on that side, we're gonna run it over to here, and we'll basically be good to go. Alright, so I got this all sorted out. So I was able to attach it to the kind of like the plastic fitting that the OEM one had, so I got that on there, hose clamped it. It just runs along with this AC line right to the catch can. And then since that I don't have, like I said before, the reason why I was running that filter is because I don't have anywhere to recirc that spot. So I just have it, instead of putting the filter right here, which I was afraid it was going to hit the hood, I just ran a hose downward, just right down to the frame. So if they're, you know, I can see from like right here at this plastic tube, which you can't really tell, right there, I'll be able to tell how much oil is in it, so it shouldn't, you know, back any oil up. The only thing that will be going through is just the pressure, basically just air. So that shouldn't be a problem. And then there we go. So this I can throw out now since I don't have any purpose for it, and it's all coated with oil anyway. So there we go, it's all set. Alright, so this episode, plain and simple, installed an oil catch can, and that's basically all I needed to do. So now I'm just gonna be here. I gotta, you know, fiddle with the steering angle kit just a little bit more. I gotta raise the ride height a little bit because the CCW is still hit. But basically it's all set. I'm just gonna dial in the alignment a little bit more too, just so I could drive it over to work. And this Saturday my job is having a cars and coffee, so I really want to try and get the BRZ over there. So that's gonna be it for this episode. So until next time, don't forget to give me a subscribe, thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. See ya.